ass. I was like jerking 2 guys off at the same time. Was like covered in cum. I was getting fucked in my ass. Like I was doing gay shit to other people, and the whole time I was like, I'm gay. I'm gay now. I'm fucking. I like every depraved act I was doing, transsexuals and like everything, and then at the end I was like, fuck, what does this guy even look like? And then I was fucking this guy so hard in the ass, and I turned around.
It was you.
It was me. And I was like, how the fuck? I looked back at myself, and I was like, how are you even hard right now, Dave? Like, what? You're fucking homosexual. You're fucking faggot, dude. What are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I can't stop. And I couldn't. I was and.
Wait, are your eyes closed? What do you mean when you see this?
Okay, so there's 2 very distinct, different parts of the trip with ayahuasca. When you close your eyes, you go to like another universe, like in seconds. Like you're just there. And then when you open your eyes, you're fucking hallucinating like crazy. Like,
so it's daylight, you see the beach, and then you see like that alien guy.
Well, it's done at night. Well, here's one perfect example. Like my trip lasted like for like 8 hours, and like in the morning, one of the super annoying hippie kids was. I was like walking to the fire, and I was like, oh shit, dude, there's a fire, and I started walking towards it, and then like a laser scanner, like, zzz, this kid was just laying naked by the fire, and I was like, oh fuck, like he just appeared out of nowhere. He was just like, I just saw this laser go, zzz, and I was like, and I like he was like white, but his dick was like so pink, and I just puked all over his dick, and he like wakes up, he's like,
This was happening in the real world.
he's like, dude, what the fuck is your problem, bro? And I'm like, and I couldn't even put words together. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, dude. I don't know what to say. And he's like, fuck, dude, you just ruined my whole trip, man. I was having such a good night and this and that, and
then
You
you suck his dick.
you puked on someone's dick. Like not many of us have that experience.
and then I look down. There's no puke on his dick. And I'm like, hey, like, and he's like, he's not even talking to me. And then I'm like, not even by the fire anymore. I'm like,
whoa.
I'm like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what's real, what's not real. And you know how I told you about the Kogies? They do the training for. This is after I learned. I mean, I learned that later. Before I even knew that, I visited the guy in the fucking cave the first night. In my vision, I went and visited in the cave. The next day, they told me the whole thing about the cave. I didn't know anything about that. So the main guy, Maurizio, he's like, all his teeth are brown from chewing cocoa leaves, and he's got long white hair. He looks like Gandalf. He looks like the White Wizard. You know, I visited him, like I time traveled, like not like, oh yeah, like I went back in time. And I literally met him for real. And I was like talking to him, and like I was like, oh my god, this is like fucking happening. Like I can time travel, I can travel to the stars, I can like shrink down to a microscopic level, like, and then his face starts twitching and shit, and I'm like, oh fuck, dude. And this is still at nighttime. I'm like, what's happening to you? And then like we got sucked out of that thing. And then he transformed into Patrick Swayze at the end of Point Break, and he's like, come on, Dave.
50-year storm thing.
Well, there was a huge storm, or from the earthquake in Japan that was creating crazy waves in that beach that we were at doesn't usually have waves, and there was huge waves, and Maurizio Patrick Swayze was like, come on, dude. And like the guy that owns the place, Eos, was like, don't go in the water. The waters are very angry, and I've owned this place for like 30 years and it's never been like this. And he was like, dude, are you a pussy? Come on, man. Just
Maurizio?
Yeah, he's like, come like while I'm tripping, he's like, come past the waves and like you'll be fine, I'll protect you. And I was like, okay. And I start like running to like the water. And they knew that like some people like get called out to the sea, so there was a guy holding guard by the water, and I started running, like, or my version of running while still like just like gimping like to the ocean, and I was like, yeah, Like, yeah, swim, like Gattaca, swim past the fucking shit.
Yeah. Don't hold it, yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna do it, dude. I'm gonna swim past. And I was like, but what if I die? And then I was like, that was so funny. I was like, who gives a shit? Like, in the end, everything was like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm gay? Who cares? I fucking, like, I'm gonna die right now? I don't give a fuck. Like, it's like everything was like a big joke. It was like every single thing that you're like, oh. So I fucking take off all my clothes, and I'm like running, and then like, he has like a super like bright halogen flashlight, and he just hits me with it, and it was like they must have known the effect of that or something, because it was like literally like a Star Trek tractor beam. Like I was running to the water and it hits me and I go and I froze in the light. I'm like, oh my god, I'm stuck in a tractor beam. And then he like pulls the light to the side and I'm like, oh shit. And then I'm like, fuck, dude, like this sucks. And like the guy that was sort of leading me around, like he disappeared, and I was like, I need a spirit guide, you know? I need someone to help me. And you know, in True Romance, Christian Slater has Elvis, you know, guiding him around, and in the comic book Preacher, the Preacher has John Wayne leading him around. So I'm like, oh, here he comes. Here's my spirit guide. Who's it gonna be? And the door opens, and it's fucking Fletch. It's Chevy Chase.
Which one? Which one?
It's
the first one.
It's just the young Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, and he's like very annoyed. Like he's just, and he doesn't even speak. He just makes like nyama 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 nyama. And I'm like, do over. I want someone else. And then the real Chevy Chase, who's still alive, but he's like really old now.
Yeah.
He shows up, and he's like, you fucking asshole. How am I your spirit guide? I'm still alive. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, you think I want you? I didn't pick you, you jerk. And he's like, dude, pick someone that's dead already. I'm still alive. And like ghost Chevy Chase is right here going, yam, yam, yam. And I'm like, oh my god. And shit, I guess I can't. I mean, a lot of funny things happened that night. And actually, like, right when it started, like, with all the Asian jokes and stuff, like, I started, like, laughing right away in this, like, hut full of 30 people all, like, having a serious trip. And I was like, it's going to happen again. It's going to be 8 hours of me laughing. Like, I felt it already. I was like, here we go. And then I was like, oh, wait, hold on. And I was like, and I like, in the first part, I couldn't really control what was happening or lead it, but I was, like, dragging, like, the alien guy. I was like, please. And he's like, what? I'm like, let's do like some serious shit tonight. Like, let's not just laugh the whole time. He's like, all right. And then he like sucked laughter out of my face and put it in a box, and he fucking kicked it into like a black hole. And then after that, I was just like totally serious. And I was like, all right. And I guess even everything I've told you right now is like retarded and like stoner talk and humorous, but Maurizio said in the beginning, he's like, this is this, you know, it's the spirit molecule. Like you will see things. It answered every question. It answered every question. Everything finally made sense. I saw things. It showed me like, it was like, it was, it happened 2 weeks ago, and I still can't believe what happened. I time traveled. I did interdimensional travel. Like I became my mom when she was like 4, when her mom died. Like I didn't like observe these things. Like I physically became them, and like was having all these things happening to me. Like I went to hell. I died. Like at one point I just like stopped breathing, and I was like, oh shit, dude. And then like my spirit just floated above me, and like everyone in the hut was just still whatever, like they were all tripping out. And I was like, dude, this shit is crazy. Like I just fucking died right now. And I'm like, but it's not that crazy. It's not that big of a deal. Like who gives a shit? And then I was like, I'm gonna go back into my body. And then I just went back in, and then I went, and all this fucking air just came out of me, and I just like started coughing and all this shit, and it was like, it just, it brought like intense clarity to everything, and then it showed me like, oh man, I'm doing a horrible job explaining it, but it's definitely not for everybody. Like a lot of people wouldn't be able to handle it, and immediately my brain started making a list of people that need to do this. like I was trying to compare it to the Hoffman process, because the Hoffman process did such a good job of like letting me forgive myself and like learn about myself and forgive others and grow more compassionate towards everything. But this is for me to like, and of course, like as a human, like I'm gonna try to compare this to everything, to prison, like to every like crazy thing that's happened in my life. This is literally the fucking craziest shit that's ever happened, ever. And I'm like, I was like this close to not coming back. I'm like, what? I should not come back.
Well, you come back to the U.S. or come back to your body?
Both. Like I was like, I'm dead right now. I could just stay in this like spirit world, or I could like fucking live as a Colombian drug lord. Like there was like some drug lord that had a giant mansion like 3 miles down on the beach. I was like, I'll just buy that off him and like eat coconuts all day and go surfing and fuck the natives, like or whatever, you know. Like I was like, I don't. It explained everything, like, and I did end up doing it 3 times. And the Kogis, like they're like one of the things the Kogi said was, the humans have been raping the earth nonstop since they've been able to, without paying their dues. There's no accounting for anything, and nothing. One thing that was very clear to me in the first vision was that, and this was like someone saying this to me in like loud as they could, nothing in life is an accident. Not one fucking thing that happens in life is an accident. Not you being passive aggressive to someone, not a bird shitting on your head, a car accident. Every single thing that you knowingly do or don't do, or that happens to you in life, is on. There's no like casual encounters or chance meetings. Like every single thing in life is on purpose.
Yeah.
With a very direct purpose. There was a very, very direct reason why that happened, and so that's like, I don't know. This shit was crazy. The Kogi said that there's a second sun coming, and then the second time I did ayahuasca, like I closed my eyes and I was like, the second sun is the second coming of the sun. It's the,
I was gonna say, yeah.
and it's the second it's the Son of God, and the Son of God is a fucking nuclear bomb, and it's gonna fucking destroy like millions and millions of people. But then, you know,
wait, is that what he meant when he said second son, or
no? They don't explain themselves.
Yeah, right,
but,
no, but
Daniel, who's done it, Daniel Pinchback, the guy that arranged this whole thing, he's done this I don't know how many times, but he said you're gonna have visions, and you're gonna have like things, just like anything you ask it answers, and it's fucking crazy. It's like going to a psychic or like having your palm read, and it's like these answers, they're all inside you. And like I was like, oh my god, like, and he's it's so easy for me and people of our day and age to be so pessimistic and like think of like this Mad Max and like post-apocalyptic hell and all this shit. And he's like, I used to be like that too. And then he was talking to his friend who's like imagined a world where like it wasn't like that, like where people were like all like caring about each other and unselfish. And Daniel was like, that's fucking retarded, that's never gonna happen. He's like, yeah, but I'm a visionary, so my job is to envision the best possible future. And he's like, you know what, I'm gonna do that too now. And like,
you said that?
No, Daniel said that. And then I was like, and I was thinking about, before I left to Colombia.
Wait, who said I'm the visionary? My job is to imagine
the guy, I can't remember his name, but another writer. And you know, I've been obsessed with doomsday shit a lot more now since I have some money, but like I've been obsessed with it for a while now. And before I left to Colombia, I think I spent 12 hours on Craigslist looking for a tank. You know, like